Hello and welcome once again to this live session on how you can improve your communication in English. I'm Mosham Banerjee, and for the next 35-40 minutes, I'll take you through towards the session that we'll be conducting today. The session that we have for today is something related to grammar. So, exactly what we will cover. Well, today we will cover a very interesting topic, which is direct and indirect speech. So, if you are someone who is struggling with this chapter, believe me, this next 35 minutes will be very crucial to you and it will definitely help you. So, get your notepads, get your pens, diaries, whatever you have, and be ready. All right. So let me share the presentation with all of you. Give me a moment. And if you're first time you have joined the channel, do subscribe and do like the video so that you keep on getting more updates. We go live every day, Monday to Friday, exactly at 11:30 in the morning. All right. So let's get started. Let me open up the presentation for all of you. Give me a moment. I believe the screen is visible to all of you. So today's topic is direct and indirect speech, a very important chapter in English. All right. So let's understand what exactly it is that we call direct speech and what exactly is indirect speech. At the end, we will do some, we will give you some quiz also. So be part of this session and you will get a gift also at the end. All right. So stay here till the end and keep your notepads and pens ready. Let's get started. Now, so let's understand direct and indirect speech. We have heard it so many times. So what exactly is the difference? Now, as you see on the screen, what does it say? We may report the words of a speaker in two ways. Now, let's say there are two people. Let's understand this through an example. Let's say there are two people, person A and person B. Okay. And I'm listening to person A. Person A is speaking with person B. Okay. So he said something to person B. Person A said something to person B. Now I have to explain it to another person, what person A said to B. Now I can say it in two ways. The first one is a direct speech where I directly quote what person A said to person B without making any change in between. That is called direct speech. Or I can use indirect speech where I make certain changes and I reframe the sentence in my own way. That is called indirect speech. Okay. So once we go through the examples, you will have clarity. So let's see this. We may quote his actual words. So let's say I'm listening to person A and person A is speaking to person B. When I quote his exact words, what A said to B, when I'm quoting exactly what he said without making any change, that is called direct speech. Okay. And I may do it differently also. We may report what he said without quoting his exact word. This is called indirect speech. I can also reframe it in my way and say it in a different way. That is called indirect speech. Okay. So direct speech means I quote another person exactly what he said without making any changes. That is called direct speech. Indirect speech is I reframe the sentence in my own way and then explain it to another person. That is indirect. So let's look at the example. You will understand here. So direct speech is, let's say Rajiv is speaking with Parul, okay, or a friend of his. Now, whatever Rajiv said, I quote exactly what Rajiv said. So if I say Rajiv said to his friend, don't waste your time. Now see, here I'm not changing anything. Exactly what Rajiv said to his friend, I'm saying, quoting exactly what he said, word by word. No change. This is direct speech. Rajiv said to his friend, don't waste your time. This is direct speech. I am quoting Rajiv without making any changes in his speech. I'm making no changes. As it is, I said it. What Rajiv said to his friend. Or indirect, Rajiv advised his friend not to waste his time. Now I'm speaking with another person and I reframe this sentence and I say like this, that Rajiv advised his friend not to waste his time. So I have reframed the sentence. This is indirect speech. When when you quote another person word by word, that is direct speech. When you reframe the sentence and say it in your own way, that is indirect speech. This is the major difference between direct and indirect speech. Now, there are certain rules that we follow, and there are some exceptions also that we follow in this. Okay. So let's understand this with some examples. The more we go deep, you will have clarity. So I'll go a bit slow so that you have clarity in this. All right. And at the end, we will play a quiz also so that you can improve as well very easily. See, just be patient and wait till the end. You'll have complete clarity today and you will not be struggling with this chapter ever. I can promise you this. So, what is direct speech? Let's go in details. Direct speech, as you see here, is the exact words of the speaker enclosed in quotation marks. So while writing, if I'm using direct speech, I'll use quotation marks. Okay. So I'm using exactly what the other person said without making any changes. I repeat, when I quote the other person without making any changes, word by word, without making any changes, I quote the other person. That is called direct speech. That's it. It's as simple as that. Okay. So let's look at some examples. Ramesh said, I am going to the bank now. Now, who is this I? This is not me. This is Ramesh. Ramesh said, I am going to the bank now. So I'm quoting Ramesh. What Ramesh said to the other person, let's say to his father, mother. Let's say Ramesh spoke with his father and said to his father, I'm going to the bank now. I'm just quoting what he said. I'm not making any change. So Ramesh said to his father, or Ramesh said, I am going to the bank now. This is direct speech. I'm quoting exactly what the other person said. Priya said, can you help me with my assignment? Now again, I'm quoting Priya word by word. I'm not making any changes. I'm not reframing it. I'm not making any changes, minor or major, in the sentence what Priya said. So Priya asked, can you help me with my assignment? So I'm just quoting Priya. This is direct speech. Now see the quotation marks. Okay. So there is a quotation mark. If you look carefully here, at the beginning and at the end. So while writing, we use this, but in speaking, there is no scope of quotation. But yeah, I believe you have understood it. Meena said, I love watching old Bollywood movies. Now, who is this I? This I is not me. This I is Meena. I'm quoting Meena. I love watching Bollywood movies. Is it clear till now what is direct speech? If clear, do type C in the chat box. Till now, is it very clear what is direct speech? If it is clear, just type in C in the chat box quickly. Yeah, go ahead quickly. If it is clear, type in C so that I have clarity and I also understand, because I'm also checking your interactions, how much you have understood. If not clear, just type in NC. I can explain again, no problem. All right. So very simply, just keep it simple. When I'm quoting the other person word by word without making any changes, that is called direct speech. That's it. Clear? Type C. Now let's move to the next one. Indirect speech. So what exactly is indirect speech? Let's understand this also. It is a restatement of what the speaker has said. So I reframe it in my own way and say it. That is indirect speech. I reframe the sentence and say it in my own words. That is indirect speech. This is the only difference between direct and indirect speech. Direct speech, I quote the other person word by word without any changes. Indirect speech, I obviously say what the other person has said, but say it in my own words. That is indirect speech. Let's look at examples. Ramesh said that he was going to the bank then. Ramesh said that he was going to the bank then. Now see, I has become he. Okay, so you can see certain changes here. We will go into these details in the upcoming slide, but just focus on indirect speech. What is indirect speech? It is a restatement. I say the same thing, but in my own way. In my own way. That is called indirect speech. Priya asked, yeah, Priya asked if I could help her with her assignment. Priya asked if I could help her with her assignment. So I'm not exactly quoting Priya. I'm changing it in my own words and then I'm saying it. This is indirect speech. Meena said that she loved watching old Bollywood movies. Meena said that she loved watching old Bollywood movies. This is indirect speech. I'm not quoting. If you just go to the previous one, if you look the earlier one, if I go this, now here I was quoting exactly what Meena said. I'm not making any changes. Meena said, I love watching all Bollywood movies. I'm quoting exactly what she said. No changes. This is direct. But in indirect, I reframe it in my own way, in my own words. Meena said she loved watching old Bollywood movies. Okay, so this is indirect speech. Now, what are the changes to remember? Now, this is the critical part where many of us get this wrong. Sometimes we get confused how it works. So today I will share with you there are certain rules and there are certain exceptions also. Okay, we'll get into this. Yeah. So always remember when you are converting from direct to indirect speech, there is a change of tense. There is a change of tense. There is a change of time. Write this down. All of you quickly write this down. And there is a change of pronoun. I'll give the examples. Okay. So when I'm converting a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, there is a change. What type of change? Number one, there will be a change of tense. There is a change of time and there is a change of pronoun. We'll look into these. There are other changes also, but these are the major changes that happens. Okay. So first write it down quickly. Once done, just type D in the chat box. Write it down in a notepad quickly. What are the changes to remember? When I'm converting a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, three major changes happen. The tense changes, the time changes, and the pronoun changes. Write it down quickly. And if done, just type D in the chat box quickly. Yeah, just type D in the chat box if it is clear. Yeah, I'll share the video will be live. So Mohan, don't worry. You will get the recording also after the session. All right, so don't worry, you can go through it all over again. The video will remain will be a public video, so it will remain live. Don't worry, after this you can get the access to the recording as well. No worries. All right, so write this down. If done, just type D in the chat box. Have you written it, all of you? Just type D in the chat box. There is a change of tense, there is a change of time, and there is a change of pronoun. So let's understand this with an example. Okay, quickly. Now look at this. The first sentence, direct speech. Umesh said, I am very busy now. This is a direct speech. Umesh said, I'm just quoting Umesh exactly what he said. I'm not making any changes. Here, I is Umesh. I is not me. Umesh said, I am very busy now. I is Umesh. Okay. This is direct speech. Now here I have made three color combinations. So pronoun is the I, tense is the am, and now is the time. So check the color combinations. There is an orange, there is a yellow, and there is light blue. All right. So check the color combination. Now why it is important. Now you will understand how it changes. This is the critical part where many of us get confused. This is the critical part in direct and indirect speech. Understand this. Okay. So that's why I've created a color combination for you people to understand easily. Now, if I just change it to indirect, this will look like this. Umesh said that, now see, I becomes he. This is the interesting part. I want you to observe very carefully. Don't be in any hurry. Very carefully understand this. I becomes he. There is a change of pronoun. Am becomes was. There is a change of tense. And now becomes then. So if I say it in indirect speech, I cannot say Umesh said that he is very busy now. Then it is wrong. There will be certain changes from direct to indirect speech. Is it clear? So Umesh said, now see, there are three changes. As I said, the first one is the pronoun. I becomes he, am becomes was, and time now becomes then. So once I'm converting from direct to indirect speech, this is the critical part. Focus on this more. Look very deep. Understand this point. This is the critical part. While converting from direct to indirect speech, many of us get it wrong. Many of us get it wrong. This is the critical part. Okay. So Umesh said, if you have understood it, just give a thumbs up. Just like the video. I also get clarity. So there are three changes, three major changes. This is a rule. This is a rule. Okay. So when you are converting from direct speech to indirect speech, three major changes are happening. Number one, I is the pronoun. We know what is pronoun. So I becomes he. Am is the tense. It becomes was and now becomes then. Okay. Clear? Great. Now note this also. There is a change of time. So how the time changes from direct to indirect speech. I want you to note this down quickly. Very important. So whenever you are converting from direct to indirect speech, there are some exceptions, but other than that, majority of the time you will find this thing. If the sentence is in direct speech is using any of these words like let's say now. In indirect speech it will become then. In indirect speech you will not use now, it becomes then. Here becomes there, ago becomes before, thus becomes so, today becomes that day, today becomes that day, tomorrow becomes the next day, yesterday becomes the day before, and last night becomes the night before. So write this down quickly, write this down. Once it is done, just let me know, just type D in the chat box once you have written it. Make a note of this, this is very important for you to understand, otherwise you'll get this wrong all the time, right? Yeah, yeah. Once you have written it, just type D in the chat box. So once you are changing from direct to indirect speech, these changes all happen most of the time. There are some exceptions. We'll discuss that later. Okay. So yeah, is it done? All of you write this, all of you quickly. Now becomes then. So let's say in the direct speech, the word now is there. In indirect speech, it will become then. You will not use now in indirect speech then. All right. Here becomes there. Excuse me, ago becomes before, thus becomes so, today that day, tomorrow next day, yesterday becomes day before, and last night becomes night before. We'll get into the examples, you will get clarity. Okay, yeah, done all of you. Just type D in the chat box so that I have clarity. Just give me a just type D in the chat box so that I get clarity that you have written this. Okay, I don't want you to get confused here. Wonderful, thank you Lavanya. Yeah, Dhampal, you can go through the video all over again. Don't worry. You can go through the video all over again. No issues. All right. Now, some more changes. There are certain more changes that happens. So while you are converting from direct to indirect speech, the quotation is removed. So in direct speech, we use this quotation. Can you see this quotation? This is the first quotation and the end quotation. All right. So this gets removed while writing in indirect speech. Now see this. I love painting. Now see, this is within quotation, starting and the end quotation. If I put it in indirect speech, the quotation has to be removed. You cannot use quotation in indirect speech. So what I'm saying here, what I'm saying here, she said that she loved painting. Now here you see there is no quotation. So in indirect speech, we never use quotation. Remember this. He asked, are you coming? Now again, see, there is a quotation here. Okay, quotation. But in indirect speech, we never say, we will not never use the quotation. Okay, never use the quotation in indirect. He asked if I was coming. Okay, so quotation has been removed. Clear? Yeah. Now there are change in modal verbs also. What can be the change? Write this down, please. If there is the sentence in direct speech uses will, in indirect speech it will change to would. Will becomes would in indirect. Okay. In direct speech, if the word shall is there, generally it will become should or would. Okay. If it is shall, it becomes should or would in indirect speech. Can becomes could, may becomes might. Sorry, yeah, may becomes might. So write this down quickly. So there are certain changes that happens when you are converting from direct to indirect speech. This is the critical part you have to understand. Okay. So write this down quickly. And once done, just type D in the chat box. Okay. So will becomes would, shall becomes should or would, and can becomes could, may becomes might. So do it quickly. Once completed, just type C in the chat box. Once completed, type C in the chat box. You should have clarity on this, okay? And do write it in your notepads. And if you are someone who has joined us for the first time, do subscribe to the channel because we go live every day, Monday to Friday, around 11:30 in the morning, all right? So that you don't miss any of the live sessions. If you have written it, just type C in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, Dhaneshwar. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Govind. Wonderful. Now, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Yeah. Now, some more changes. Now, if you notice these type of things in direct speech like command, request, advice, there will be a change. So verbs like asked, told, requested, advised, ordered, warned. So that we use during a command. Now see what type of sentence you will understand from example. Now look at this. She said, don't talk loudly. Now see, this is a command. This is a statement, but still it is a command. She said, don't talk loud. It is like an order. Once you are using a order or a command, then in indirect speech, you will be using these type of words: asked, told, requested, advised, ordered, warned. So what do I do? Said becomes advised because this is an order. It is a command. When you are using a command order, then you, in indirect speech, you will be using these type of words. She advised not to talk loudly. So direct speech, she said, don't talk loudly. She advised not to talk loudly. It is a command. It is an order. I'm giving you an order. Do not talk loudly. This is an order. So when I'm converting it into indirect speech, we will use these words like advised or ordered, something like this. Okay. So she advised not to talk loudly. He said, please close the door. Now, again, see, this is more like a command, like an order. It is a statement, but still it is like an order. He said, please close the door, or he, let's say, requested, or not an order, I would say it's requested. So he requested, please close the door. So use the word requested here. He requested to close the door. Okay. Had he removed the word please, and it should have been he said close the door, then I would have used he ordered to close the door, or he warned to close the door. Okay. Since there is a word please, so we will take it as a request. He requested to close the door. So you can see the change from direct to indirect speech. Now comes the tricky part. The most tricky part comes now. Exceptions. What are exceptions? Which is against the rule. Rule says something, but exception is different from the rule. Now, these are few things you need to keep in mind in direct and indirect speech. This is, many of us, we get confusion that how it works. So this is called an exception, which is against the rule. Okay. Now, what is the exception? When the, okay, indirect speech, when the reported sentence expresses a universal truth, fact, or law of nature, the tense remains unchanged. Now see this. The teacher said water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Now this is a universal truth. Try to understand this. Everyone knows this is a universal truth. This is a fact. So when there is a fact, the tense remains unchanged. So we don't make any changes. The teacher said that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. I'm not making any change. Why? Look at this sentence. The water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is a universal truth. So whenever you are using a universal truth, for example, the sun rises in the east. This is a known fact. This is a universal truth. The sun rises in the east. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is a universal truth. Whenever there is a universal truth, there is no change in the tense. There is no change in the tense. Earlier, if you remember, we were changing the tense. But now, no change. So the teacher said water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Indirect, the teacher said that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. See, there is no major change here. Okay. Because it is a universal truth. So this is an exception. If you want, you can write this down quickly. Have clarity. Whenever there is a universal truth, we avoid changing the tense. Okay. It remains as it is. We don't make any. See, the teacher said here also, I'm saying the teacher said that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. No major change. Okay. Now, if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the tense of the reported speech remains the same. Now, see this. Ananya says, I am going to the temple. Now, this is in present or future tense. In that case, it remains the same in indirect speech also. Ananya says, I am going to the temple. Now, look at the word says. This is present or future tense. This is present or future tense. Okay. So, in that case, you will not make any changes in indirect. It remains as it is. Ananya says that she is going to the temple. That's it. Okay. So, whenever the reporting verb is in present or future tense, we don't make major changes. It remains as it is. So, this is the second exception. This is an exception. Okay. It's slightly confusing, but try to understand. I want you to focus on this. Once you go through the video multiple times, you repeat and watch the video, you will understand it. Okay, slightly confusing, but try to understand. It will help you. Okay. The next one, exception. Time exceptions like expressions like today, now, this morning may remain unchanged if the meaning remains unclear and the context is relevant. So now see this. Sometimes we do make changes from now to another word, but in certain cases we avoid it. Seema said, I will finish the report today. Okay. Seema said that she would finish the report today. If it is the same day, I can use this. So I'm saying it. Seema said that she would finish the report today. So I'm not making any changes in today. Why? Because it is still relevant now. It is relevant. If it is relevant now, I can still continue without making any major changes in indirect speech. So Seema said, I will finish the report today. Seema said that she would finish the report today because it is still relevant. It is in this context that we are speaking. So this is an exception. Don't get too confused with the exceptions. The more you speak, the more or you write, you will get practice of this and you will get a feel of it. Okay. So don't get too much. Don't try to learn anything. Just have clarity. If you have clarity, you will be able to pick it up later on also. Okay. Exceptions. If the sentence starts with let's, it changes into a suggestion using suggested or proposed. Now let's say the direct speech has this word let's. Rahul said, let's go to Goa this weekend. So how will I convert to indirect speech? How will I convert to indirect speech? If it starts with let's, I will be using this word suggested or proposed. So Rahul suggested that we should go to Goa that weekend. So here I'm making change because it starts with the word let's. So let's I'm changing to suggested or proposed. This is an exception. Again, as I said, don't go too deep into this. Just have clarity. It will be easy, right? Next one, when a question begins with a question word. So let's say there is a question which starts with what, where, when, why. The word order remains like a statement in indirect speech. Like Ria asked, what are you cooking for dinner? Now this is a question and it starts with what. This is a question. It starts with what. So we don't make any major changes. Ria asked what I was cooking for dinner. So I'm not making any major changes because it is a question and the question starts with what, where, when, why. So in these cases, we don't make any major changes in indirect speech. So it remains as it is, slight change here and there. Ria asked what I was cooking for dinner. Again, this is an exception. This is an exception. So if there is a question and the question starts with what, where, when, why, then don't make any major changes in indirect speech. Clear? Just have a note of it. Okay. Just have some clarity. Some more exceptions. If yes, no questions, use if or whether and remove the auxiliary verb like do, does, did. Now see this. The officer asked, did you submit your document? So here the officer is asking a question which has a yes, no type of question, which has a yes, no answer. Did you submit the documents? In that case, we can use if or whether. Okay. So the officer asked if I had submitted my document. So this, look at the question. It is a yes, no question. So the officer asked, did you submit your document? What will be the answer? The answer will be yes or the answer will be no. Okay. There is no maybe answer. Either you say, yes, I have submitted the documents, or you say, no, I have not. So in these type of question, which is a yes, no type of question, you can use if or whether in indirect speech. The officer asked if I had submitted my document. So in indirect speech, I'm using if. All right. This is just an exception. And see, this did also have removed the auxiliary verb. Did also we have removed. Another exception, the emotion is expressed using a verb like exclaimed, said with joy, or said with sorrow. So if there is an emotion, what will you use in indirect speech? Let's see. Meena said, what a lovely sari. What a lovely sari. This is a emotional statement. It's an emotional statement. In this case, what should be the indirect speech? See, I will be using this word exclaimed, said with joy. Okay. So Meena exclaimed that it was a lovely sari. Whenever you find a direct speech with a expression, with an emotion, then you can use these words exclaimed, said with joy, said with sorrow. So these can be used when you are finding a sentence of direct speech with lots of emotion. Meena said, what a lovely sari. This is an emotion. So it's an emotional statement. If I convert it into indirect speech, I'll be using the word exclaimed or said with joy or something like that. Okay. Again, this is an exception. Don't have to learn it, just have some clarity. All right. Slowly you will pick it up also. When reporting negative commands, like use told not to, asked not to before the base verb. Now, when you are using a negative command, father said, don't play with the switchboard. Now, this is a negative statement, negative command. Father said, don't play with the switchboard. In that case, you can use not to, told me not to with the switchboard. So father told me not to play with the switchboard. You can see it here. So whenever there is a negative statement or a negative command, you can use told not to, asked not to. So father told me not to play with the switchboard because this is a negative command, a negative statement. This is again an exception. Okay. So here we are not saying father told. We are saying father told not to play with the switchboard. Okay. This is again an exception. Just I have a note of it. Some more exceptions. If the reporting verb is in the past, the reported speech remains in the present tense if the statement is still true. Let's see what does it mean. He said the Taj Mahal is in Agra. Now see this is a reporting verb is in the past. He said the reported speech remains in the present tense if the statement is still true. So he said that Taj Mahal is in Agra. He said that the Taj Mahal is in Agra. No change. Why? The statement is still true. The Taj Mahal is still in Agra. It has not been moved or removed. It is still in Agra. So the statement still holds. In that case, I'll not make any major changes in indirect speech. Okay. So when the statement still holds, we don't make any major changes. These are all exceptions. Okay. Not the rule, exception, just the opposite of the rule. Now let's practice. So if you don't remember all the rules, no problem. Once you start doing it, you will start to feel it. You will start to get a feel of it and you will start picking it up. Don't worry. All right. So let's practice. Now I want you to be active here and start writing the sentence in the comment section. All right. Let's practice. Right or wrong, don't worry about it. If it is wrong, you can always improve. If it is right, congratulations. All right. So let's practice. Let's look at the first statement, direct speech. Shweta said, I will join the yoga class from Monday. Now, can you convert it into indirect speech? This is direct speech. Convert it into indirect speech quickly. Make the sentence in the, type it in the comment section quickly. Shweta said, I will join the yoga class from Monday. So convert it into indirect speech. Make the sentence and comment below. Whatever you think is correct, comment below. Yeah. So whatever you think is the correct statement, comment below. How will you convert into indirect speech? Okay. Shweta said, I will join the yoga class from Monday. What should be the indirect speech? Comment below. All of you quickly. Comment below what should be the indirect speech. The indirect speech will be this. Shweta said that she would join the yoga class from Monday. So I will become she would join the yoga class from Monday. So this is the correct indirect speech. So Shweta said, I will join the yoga class from Monday. Direct speech. The indirect speech will be Shweta said that she would join the yoga class from Monday. All right. So do write the sentences. Until you write it, you will mind will not capture it. Okay. So do write it. Even if it is slightly boring, do write it. It will help you. All right. So write the sentence. Next. Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? Direct speech. Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? Direct speech. How will you convert it into indirect speech? So make the sentence. Parul asked, Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? Convert it into indirect speech quickly, all of you. Make the sentence. Make the sentence. Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? Until you type it, until you write it, your mind will not capture it. Okay. So do write the sentence. Even if it is wrong, don't worry about right or wrong. Those can be corrected later. But at least you should have that intention of doing something. Right? Yeah. So Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? How will you convert it into indirect speech? Quickly do it. Good. Rajashri, Jamila, Dhyaneshwar, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Jagadish, K player, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So make a sentence with this. Parul asked, have you seen my phone anywhere? Here comes the answer. Parul asked if I had seen her phone anywhere. This is the indirect speech. Parul asked if I had seen her phone anywhere. Okay. So this is the indirect speech. Parul asked if I had seen her phone anywhere. Indirect speech. See how the sentence is getting changed. Okay. From direct to indirect speech. The next one. Yeah. Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? So, what should be the correct indirect speech? Comment below. What should be the correct indirect speech? Go ahead. Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? Comment below with the correct indirect speech. Quickly do it. Yeah. So, this is pretty easy. So it's a question. Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? Right? How will you do that? Let's look at the answer now. So in indirect speech, the sentence will be like this. Sumit asked, what time the train arrived? See, slight change in indirect speech. Sumit asked, what time the train arrived? This is indirect speech. Okay. So the direct speech is Sumit asked, what time does the train arrive? In indirect, it is Sumit asked what time the train arrived. That's it. Got it? Yeah. The next one. Rajiv said to his friend, don't waste your time. This is direct speech. Convert into indirect speech. Rajiv said to his friend, don't waste your time. Convert to indirect speech. Make the sentence below. Comment below. As I said, do write. Until you write the sentence can be right or wrong. That can be corrected later. Don't worry about it. Your intention should be to write something there so that your mind can connect with what you are writing. Okay, so do write, comment in the comment section below, whatever you think, right or wrong, don't worry about it. All right. So Rajiv said to his friend, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Convert into indirect speech. Yeah, yeah, right. Rajashri, Dr. Anita, wonderful, wonderful. So here is the answer. Rajiv advised his friend not to waste his time. Rajiv advised his friend not to waste his time. Rajiv advised his friend not to waste his time. Okay. The next one. John says, I shall go there. John says, I shall go there. So how will you convert into indirect speech, right? How will you convert into indirect speech? Try this. John says, I will go there. So think it out and comment below what should be the correct indirect speech. And if you are joining us for the first time, do subscribe and like the video. People who are already
watching this video for the last 20-25 minutes. Do like the video and do share with people who also need to improve their communication in English and who need to understand these concepts as well. Do share with them, with your friends, colleagues, family members, whosoever they are. All right. So quickly make the sentence. John says, I shall go there. How will you say it in indirect speech? Here comes the answer. John says that he will go there. John says that he will go there. So see, there is no major change. All right. It is in present tense. So John says that he will go there. This is the correct indirect speech. Okay. The next one. Tom said the sun rises in the east. Tom said the sun rises in the east. Tom said the sun rises in the east. Now convert it into indirect speech. Okay. Now just remember this is a universal truth. The sun rises in the east is a universal truth. Okay. So how will you make it into indirect speech? Think it out. Think it out. Tom said the sun rises in the east. So comment below. Yeah. And do like the video if you have enjoyed till this part of the video. Do subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. We go live every day, Monday to Friday, around 11:30 in the morning. All right. So we go live every day, Monday to Friday, 11:30 in the morning. Right. So I don't want you to miss out on the upcoming sessions. Do subscribe and click the notification icon as well so that you get the notification when we go live. Right. Now, what will be the indirect speech? And do like the video, of course. Tom said that the sun rises in the east. Now, see, there is no major change. Why? This is a universal truth. This is a universal truth. So there is no major change. Tom said that the sun rises in the east. Okay. So no major change. Why? Because as I said, in exception, if you remember when we are discussing the exception, in universal truth, we don't make any major changes. Okay. Yeah. The next one, Liz said, I bought a purse yesterday. Liz. Liz is the name of somebody, a lady. Liz said, I bought a purse yesterday. Liz said, I bought a purse yesterday. So, how do you convert it into indirect speech? Comment below. How do you convert it into indirect speech? Yes. Liz said, I bought a purse yesterday. How do you convert into indirect speech? Comment below with the proper indirect speech, proper sentence, quickly. Liz said that she had bought a purse the day before. Liz said that she had bought a purse the day before. Okay. So Liz said that she had bought a purse the day before. See, yesterday becomes the day before. Keep this in mind. Yesterday becomes the day before. I've shared it earlier. If you remember, I'm sure you have noted it down. Now, at any point you feel confused or you want more clarity, come back. The video will remain there in the section in this channel. So you can go through the video all over again. Okay. Immediately, you may not pick every point. You may forget some point, which is absolutely fine. We are humans. We make mistakes. It's okay. You can always come back and go through the video all over again. No problem. All right. And it will help you. So Liz said that she had bought a purse the day before. The next one, Tom says, I eat a mango. Tom says, I eat a mango. Go ahead. Tom says, I eat a mango. So how will you convert into indirect speech? This is pretty simple. Think it out. All of you, think it out and comment below. So Tom says, I eat a mango. Here comes the answer. Tom says that he eats a mango. Tom says that he eats a mango. Tom says that he eats a mango. Okay. The last one, he said, he said, I went to Rajasthan yesterday. He said that he said, I went to Rajasthan yesterday. How will you convert that into indirect speech? Go ahead. He said, I went to Rajasthan yesterday. So comment below, how will you convert that into indirect speech? What should be the correct indirect speech? Go ahead, quickly. Comment below and do comment, because only if you start typing, your mind will be connected to what you are typing. All right. The correct answer, he told that he had gone to Rajasthan the day before. See, yesterday becomes the day before. He said, I went to Rajasthan yesterday. He told that he had gone. I went becomes he had gone. I becomes he. Went becomes had gone to Rajasthan. Yesterday becomes the day before. He told that he had gone to Rajasthan the day before. Okay. So that was indirect speech. I hope you have clarity right now how it works. If you get confused, you can come back, watch the video all over again, and it will clear your mind exactly what you need to do in terms of direct as well as indirect speech. So that's it for this session. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And tomorrow we'll meet again sharp at 11:30. If you have joined us for the first time, do definitely subscribe to the video. Share the video with your friends who are struggling with English communication. It may help somebody. And do like the video, comment below how was your experience, and do share your feedback. We'd love to work on your feedback as well. All right. So let's meet tomorrow sharp 11:30. Till then, take care. Bye bye. God bless all of you. Take care.